Hi guys. So I'm making this video today to introduce to you guys the final project for the class. Yay, you're gonna be done. It's super easy, but I need to explain it to you guys. And I'm gonna put up 2 more videos after this video. One is gonna be on, or actually I may just do one video because both of the things I have to talk about are relatively short. So there'll be 1 or 2 videos posted after this one that will explain the rubric for this project and will explain a sample kind of outline for the letter that you have to write. But this is a super simple assignment. It's not meant to be stressful. You got a good bit of time to work on it, and it's been significantly shortened. So first of all, I wanted to tell you, as you all know, I usually do mock grades of things. For this project, unfortunately, I can't do a mock grade. The reason for that is that I've shortened this project drastically. So originally what this project is you take 2 of your previously written papers and you revise them, and then you write a 4 to 6 page letter. But I've changed this so that it's much shorter. So your letter is now 2 to 3 pages, and you're only doing 1 revision. And for that reason, I can't really do a mock grade because all of the samples that I have from previous instruction are that longer assignment, and so I don't really have a good way to show you guys a mock grade because it just doesn't, the assignment isn't exactly the same, so it just makes it too difficult to do that mock grade. But I will go through the rubric and try to help you guys understand exactly what I'm asking you to do. I'll also, of course, go through a sample outline of the letter that you're expected to write, just to help you out. But again, this is not meant to be a difficult assignment. This is certainly not meant to be stressful. It's meant to help you, finish out the semester with something that's easy and not, super crazy. My dog is acting crazy. Anyway, so here's the assignment. So this is the final portfolio and self-analytical letter. You can find this now on Blackboard under the portfolio and self-analytical writing tab. So I will show you the actual assignment sheet and walk through it with you. Okay. So, let's see. I'm going to turn this way actually. All right, so what you're going to do here is take one of your projects. It could be any of the 4 projects from this semester and do actually, I'm just going to talk through this because you guys can pull it up and read it if you want to. It'd be easier. So you choose one of the projects that you've written for this semester, so 1.1, 1.2, 2.1, or 2.2, and you're making a major revision. So a major revision is more than just going in and correcting like grammar and syntax issues or something like that. A major revision means you're shifting into a new audience, into a new purpose for the assignment, into a new genre, into a new medium, etc., etc. I usually advise students to make an audience or a medium change. The reason for that is that that's one of the simplest revisions that you can do without having to, without having to drastically kind of rewrite all of your language. You can do an assignment switch that, in your introduction, you sort of, just change your audience. Hold on just 1 second, guys. Will you please text my father and tell him that I will text him back in a minute? I'm trying to make a video for my students. Sorry, my dad is like blowing my phone up and it's getting me distracted. So an audience change, so if you're going to do an audience change, it's pretty simple because like I said, in your introduction where you've already kind of established that audience, you're just going to switch it to a new audience. And as long as you keep the new audience pretty close to the old audience that you had, you won't have to go in and do major revisions to all of the language in your paper, right? So for example, if if in 1.1 you wrote to your peers or people who are in your discipline and in your major that are college level students, you might switch that to incoming freshmen who are maybe going to be interested in your major. That way your language doesn't have to change very much. You may have to go in and explain if you use some kind of jargony sort of terms from your discipline. You might have to go in and explain, what those terms mean. But you don't have to go through and majorly rewrite your paper. It's just shifting that audience to somebody else. So 2 pieces of advice before we go forward. If you are going to change your audience in one of these, I do not suggest changing your audience to experts in your field. The reason for that is that your level of writing is not going to meet sort of the expectations of experts in your field, not because you're bad writers, but because they have years and years of experience and degrees on you. So it's just not a good decision to try to write for a much bigger academic audience. So I would suggest, again, like I said, maybe changing it from people who are already majoring in your discipline to incoming freshmen who might be interested, or even to high school students, that kind of thing. The other kind of changes you might make are to medium. So you're changing it from a paper to a PowerPoint or like a Prezi kind of situation, or maybe even a video. I've had students do videos and podcasts and stuff in the past. If you do change to a video or some kind of audio file, do keep in mind that you're going to be required to turn in a transcript of that too, for accessibility reasons. So if you don't want to go through the tediousness of typing up a transcript, I don't suggest that you change it to an audio file. And then finally, the last revision that you might consider that are among the simpler revisions is to change the purpose. So instead of, project 1.1 being a rhetorical analysis, make it an instructional paper to teach other people how to do a rhetorical analysis or something like that. Then my last piece of advice for this is probably you don't want to use 2.2. The reason for that is I'm not exactly sure when I'll have feedback back for all of you. And there are a couple of you who have asked for extensions that are going to be even later getting that feedback. So I would strongly suggest that you use a project that has already been graded so that you have that feedback to go off of when you're making your revisions. Now, if you want to use 2.2, that's totally fine. You're more than welcome to, but I just think it would probably be easier on you guys to pick a project that's already been graded and already has feedback applied to it. Okay, so that's the instruction for the revision. The next thing that you'll do is write a self-analytical letter. So let me stress here, self-analytical, not analyzing the course, not analyzing me, not analyzing ECU, not analyzing the switch to online instruction because of COVID, none of that. What your letter is going to do is two things primarily. And if you want more information on this, I'm going to make that video with the sample outline for the letter. That'll be really, it's broken down really easily. It's really easy to follow. So I'll make another video explaining this even further than I'm explaining it here. But what you're going to be doing is writing a 2 to 3 page letter. So that's the only new writing that you're doing is 2 to 3 pages. It'll be formatted like a letter. So, you're going to have the opening information of, your name, the address, and et cetera, and a formal, greeting and then a salutation at the end of the letter. 2 to 3 pages, not super long. And so the two things that you'll do in the letter, first, you're going to tell me, I'm your audience. So you're going to address it to Miss Parrish, dear Miss Parrish. You're going to tell me what revision you made. So talk a little bit about the project that you picked, tell me about the revision that you made, and then you're going to tell me kind of the how and why you did that. So if you decided to change 1.2 from a rhetorical analysis of these articles into an instructional kind of paper about how to rhetorically analyze articles in your field, then you'll say, hey, I did this revision. I changed this into an instructional essay rather than a rhetorical analysis, and this is the way that I did it. Bam, bam, bam. Step 1, step 2, step 3. These are the things that I did to go along to accomplish this. The next thing you'll tell me is the why. Why did you decide to pick that project, and why did you decide to pick that revision? And it could be as simple as it's the end of the semester, and I felt like this would be the simplest thing to do. It could be that this was a paper that you did poorly on, and so you wanted to kind of prove to yourself that you could make an improvement to it. It could be that you thought that changing it into this format was gonna allow you to maybe publish it somewhere or something like that. I mean, there could be a myriad of reasons as to why you chose to do this revision. I don't really care why you chose, as far as like, you're not gonna have points docked off if you tell me I chose to do this because it's the end of the semester and I'm freaking out and I have exams and I just needed to get this done, and so I chose what I thought would be the simplest revision. Totally fine. I just want to know why. So don't think that you have to make up some elaborate, reason as to why you chose that revision. You just be honest with me. If it is because, you are just stressed out and you have exams and other things, that's perfectly fine. If it's that, You know, you're working, maybe you're an essential worker during all this, and so you wanted to just knock it out, go ahead and knock it out so you can be done with the semester, totally fine. I don't, yeah, like I said, you're not going to have points docked as to why you made this revision. Okay, so that's the first part of the letter. Second part of the letter is going to be basically you explaining how you think you have grown as a writer and what you are going to do moving forward in your college career, maybe in your professional career beyond that. So this is the place where you can talk about some of the more the finer things of the course. So if there was, this particular writing skill that you learned early on that really, really changed the way that you write, then tell me that. Say, yeah, like you taught me X thing, and so now I do that in all my future writing. You can tell me about things that you didn't like as well. I mean, and again, guys, you can be honest. One of the questions that I pose in the sample outline for the letters is, what was your relationship with writing before coming into this course? And it could be that you hated writing before you came into this course, and now you hate it even more. That's fine. What I want you to focus on is keeping in mind that this is a self-analytical letter. So you're talking about your progress as a writer. What I don't want to read is, ECU did a terrible job handling this transition from face-to-face online instruction, and so my writing suffered. I don't need to hear a critique of the school. I don't need to hear a critique of me. I don't need to hear I didn't appreciate, the way that you lectured in class or the way you structured assignments. Now, if there's something specific that I did that caused you to struggle as a writer, you can definitely tell me that, but you're just keeping in mind that you're coming back around to your writing and you as a writer. It's not, I don't want you to just say, I really love this class or I really hated this class. It's like, great, what does that have to do with your writing? So anything that you put into this letter, just look back at it and think, does this have a direct relationship with me as a writer or my writing? And if the answer to that question is yes, awesome, keep it. If it's no, then you need to either throw it out or, rearrange it to make that connection so that it is coming back in the end to you as a writer. But again, this is 2 to 3 pages. It's not much at all. Most of it will be spent on you explaining the how and why of your revision. And, then you'll talk about your writing a little bit, but it's super short. The audience for this whole thing is me. So in the letter, you want to address the letter to me. Well, I shouldn't say that. The audience of the letter is me. If you might change your audience to for your revision to somebody totally different. I probably should not be your audience for any of your revisions, because that would just be a little strange. But as usual, this is Times New Roman 12-point font all the way around, 1-inch margins. Don't try to play me. I will catch you. Plus this is 2 to 3 pages. Really, guys, it's not a whole lot of writing, to get out. And as far as references go, you probably are just going to have the same references that you have for your original project. So you won't really have to create anything new. If for some reason you do reference somebody new, then make sure that you're citing them correctly. APA 8th edition, make sure you're using 8th edition. Some of you are still using 7th edition. But just make sure that you cite them correctly. For the letter, you probably won't cite anybody at all. Sometimes students will quote themselves. So they'll say like, in my original project 1.2, my sentence said, quote, blah, 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 blah. If you quote yourself, you have to cite yourself. I know that sounds insane. It's just a rule though. So if you're in a situation where you think you're going to quote yourself, and you're confused about how to go about citing your previous project, just get in touch with me and I'll help you. I'll walk you through it. We'll figure it out. But like I said, most of the time students don't have citations for the letter. With that being said, if you do cite something in the letter, whether it's yourself or one of your references from your project or something like that, then you have to have a references page attached to your letter as well. The beauty in that is that if you're citing from something that you've already cited from before, you can just copy and paste your old reference into a new references page. But like I said, most students don't encounter that problem. And if you do decide to quote yourself, that's perfectly fine. But if you're confused about it, just let me know and we'll walk through it together. So that's the final project, the one revision and then the letter that's shortened. Like I said, in a few minutes, I'm going to put up a couple more. I'll probably just do one video that goes through the rubric, and the sample that I'll put up under the portfolio tab as well, so that you can find that and follow along, or just look it over if you'd like to look it over. But this is going to be the last video of the semester besides those two. So that's that. Oh, and let me stress this. So your due date for the portfolio and for the letter is May 9th at midnight, 11:59 p.m. When you turn it in, you'll turn in your revision and then the letter, probably as two separate files. If you want to finagle them into one file, that's fine with me. I don't really care. But you can turn it in as two separate files if that makes it easier on you, which it probably will be easier to do that. So, you'll just go in once, turn in the revision, and then go right back into the same assignment and turn in the letter. So Saturday, May 9th is your due date, 11:59 p.m. I will not accept late work on this for any reason, unless you're dead, basically. And then, I don't know, I guess your ghost can turn it in. I mean, if you get sick or if you get injured or something like that, then, we can talk. But I cannot accept late work here for any reason. That is because grades are due on May 12th, and so I have a very small window of time because of how many due dates I've pushed back, both for you guys and for my freshman students. I have a very small window of time. They're doing the same exact assignment that you all are doing with the final portfolio and the letter, and I have a very small window to get all of those graded. So in addition to, not only do I have to grade the portfolios and the letters, but I also have to get your course grades straight. So I don't have a hell of a lot of time to do that. So please, 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 please turn this in and turn it in on time. If it's late, it's a 0. I'm just not going to accept anything late. Okay. So that's pretty much it, guys. One last thing I will say, as far in regard to grades, please do not go by Blackboard for your grades. That's for two reasons. My Blackboard grade book is not calibrated with the correct weights and stuff. I do your grades manually at the end of the semester. So what you see in Blackboard as an overall course grade is not an accurate reflection of your actual grade. If you want to know where you currently stand, that's another situation. If you email me, then I can tell you where you stand. Well, I think I can. Maybe I can't. Can you discuss grades over email?
Yeah, with this.
Oh, okay. Never mind. For some reason, I was thinking that we weren't supposed to do that. Anyway, if you want to know where you stand, you can email me, and I'll definitely let you know. My email's still open. My Kick's still open. All that good stuff. If you guys need to get in touch with me. The other thing too, don't freak out if you're supposed to get extra credit and you don't see that in Blackboard. I don't record it in Blackboard, because it's just a pain in the ass. I put it in my personal grade book. So if you were supposed to have extra credit, I can assure you that you have the extra credit. It's just not going to show up in Blackboard. It is there on my end, but you guys won't see it. And yeah, like I said, still email me, kick me. I'm more than happy to help you with anything you might need help with. Expect to see grades for 2.2 probably tomorrow. That's what I'm thinking anyway. For those of you that are turning in late, obviously that's not going to be the case. But for most of you, it's going to be in there tomorrow. So be looking forward to that. And I'll post those other videos about this project soon. And that's it, guys. Have a good end of the semester. Don't let exams stress you out too much. Hopefully things will be back to normal soon. Just stay healthy and stay patient and stay 6 feet away from each other. And wash your hands. All right, guys.